Hello and welcome everyone. It's Doug Diamond here. You have reached the Diamond Report Live. Yes, we are live tonight. First time in what seems to be months, but I think it's only been a few weeks. But anyway, just wanted to say hello and hope you guys have done okay without me. It's been, I was looking at the calendar. I think it was the 22nd of December, last live show that we did, because I was traveling the next week, and then last week, lo and behold, I came back with an illness that I wasn't too fond of. So anyway, my apologies for missing last week. I just did not feel well at all. Could barely even speak. But this week, I think we're doing all right, seems like. So I've got my drink here. Hopefully I can keep my throat energized. So we will try and look at the news. Got quite a bit to look at. Obviously, lots and lots going on. So hope you guys had a good holiday, good Christmas, good New Year's. We did some traveling. We were actually in Las Vegas right when the Las Vegas bombing happened with the Cybertruck and all that stuff. We were literally just, a few blocks away from that when that happened. So that was interesting. And then of course we had the big mess that happened in New Orleans as well. And then some other places had some different things that happened as well, different issues. So yeah, it's been an interesting start to a brand new year here, huh? 2025, I think, is going to shape up to be a very interesting one for sure. One for the record books, as it were. All right, let's take a look at the news. We've got this first article pulled up here from Hal's site, HalTurnerRadioShow.com. It says, urgent, the last time they issued one of these, much of Los Angeles burned down, now north of L.A. So that is the big story. It's going on right now, obviously. It says particularly dangerous situation, a PDS with red flag warnings. So this is what Hal is warning about. So it appears to be more fires. From what I can tell, it says extreme risk, take immediate action, 3 PDS, particularly dangerous situation areas that are mentioned here, Ventura and Los Angeles counties. It's my old stomping ground. I used to live there way back when in the early 90s, we'll just say that. And it's an interesting place for sure. But I got out of there as soon as I realized that is not where I needed to be anymore, and realized that I could be in the music business as I do my day-to-day work from somewhere that's not Los Angeles. So I got out of there as soon as I could. So anyways, the fires are quite the story right now. So we're going to look at that quite a bit tonight. And amongst many other things I've got pulled up here. So it says PDS timing Tuesday 4 a.m. to noon Wednesday. So that's this week. Do not do anything that could spark a fire, unless, of course, you're an illegal and you have your old trusty flamethrower with you. If you do, then I'm sure it's fine. Have multiple ways to receive evacuation information and visit fire.ca.gov/prepare. Develop a wildfire action plan. Yeah, and then let's see. This is a NOAA. It's got the NOAA logo and the weather.gov/Los Angeles logos on it. So take that for what it's worth. Probably not a whole lot, actually, but if you are in that area, then definitely, I'm sure you're already taking cover and know what to expect. But just know that this red flag condition is a new development that's happened really this afternoon. So definitely keep an eye out on that if you are in that area. And then this one was on his site too. I thought this was pretty interesting. LA official gives fire briefing wearing an upside down cross. Isn't that nice? Said an official in the LA area gave a press briefing while wearing an upside down, it says crucifix, but I think it's just a cross from what I can tell. Humility or satanic? Brief video below. Well, here, let's mute it and just watch the zoom in here as it's happening. Yep, there it is. Can pretty obviously tell that's what's going on. Well, we know there are plenty of practicing witches in the area, so perhaps she's one of them. Who knows? This tweet says, so we're supposed to believe what this lady says about the California wildfires while she's wearing an upside-down cross around her neck? Yeah, and speaking officially for the county of Los Angeles, too. So, isn't that nice? So I just thought I would point that out. I didn't know if you had already seen that on Hal's site. I hadn't seen it anywhere else, but And then the other article of note here on House site, Special Counsel Jack Smith resigns from Justice Department. So probably most people saw that one coming. Counsel Smith resigned from the Justice Department on Friday, officials said in the court filing on Saturday. This move was expected ahead of President-elect Trump taking the oath of office, which we are down to, 8 days now. So, yeah, we'll see how that all plays out as well. I mean, who knows? Got some craziness happening for sure. So, and then one other thing on House site. It's really for the paid subscribers, but I can at least read you the headline. The headline says, Russia tells U.S. your next president, quote, will inherit a scorched earth. So if you are a subscriber on Hal's website, you can read further into that. I can't really read anything other than the headline that I just read, but that's the only public part. So they're saying you will inherit a scorched earth, and I think the Biden administration is in process of making sure that that happens. So anyway, things are not looking too good right now, as they say. So, all right. So keep one of our own in very deep prayer, if you don't mind. I don't think she's here tonight. No, I don't see her in chat anyway. I think she would say hi if she were. Miss Emily, let our group in band know about this earlier in the week. And I just wanted to briefly mention this. And again, we'll link to these articles in the Substack post that I send out. So if you don't happen to be in the band group, you could either do a search for it on your own or wait for the Substack post that I send out. But this is truly interesting and a really scary situation here for our friend Emily. So please say a prayer for her if you don't mind. Local aviation expert calls for missing pilot search to escalate. We currently don't believe he has crashed. Now, this is Miss Emily's father, Miss Emily's dad. Says a Southern Nevada aviation expert is calling for an escalation of the ongoing search for a pilot who disappeared after taking off from the North Las Vegas airport last week. In an interview on Channel 13 on Friday, Jonathan Wallentine, who owns and operates the Valley View Airport, he says that he believes that the investigation needs to be broadened. The pilot, 65-year-old Michael Martin, went missing January 2nd. Martin's family says that he has disappeared during a routine flight in his plane, which is a Piper Cherokee 6 PA 32-300. And then there's another article here linked to this KTNV website. Different article, different day. Family also tells Channel 13 Martin is an experienced pilot, something echoed by Wallentine in our conversations with him on Friday, according to the writer of this article here. Based on his track record, he is a good pilot, a very good pilot. You can see from his track record of flying. Anyway, Mr. Martin here apparently has completely disappeared, like off the map. So, yes, the missing pilot is Emily's dad. So please, please keep her in your prayers. Keep their family in your prayers if you don't mind. And again, no one seems to know. He literally just vanished. Says the emergency transponder had gone off on his plane at 10,000 feet. So he left North Las Vegas Airport, and then just a few minutes later, the transponder was either shut off or went off. I don't know that we have that answer. But at that point, he disappeared, and there's no one that can seem to find any wreckage or anything like that. So they're going on the fact that as of the moment, I think that he is still alive. So anyway, it remains to be seen how this all plays out. This is a truly wacky and weird way to start the new year, I'm sure, for the Martin family. But please keep them in your prayers if you don't mind. There is a follow-up article on this other Vegas Fox channel as well, Fox 5, local Las Vegas. Rescue crews search Nye County mountains for missing Las Vegas pilot. And there he is there. And then they're quoting Miss Emily here in this article. All the prayer warriors out there, we need your prayers, said his daughter, Emily Martin. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you guys' attention to that. That is one of our own. We do not take that lightly around here. And please know, Miss Emily, that you are in all of our prayers. And if we could be out there hunting around too, we could be. We certainly would be. So anyway, and what's really strange to me is I was just in this area I think we left about the day that he disappeared. So it's been that long, the second. So it's been 10 days now. So it's really bizarre how things are sort of unfolding, and there's no answers in his case that I know of. So anyway, we will hopefully get an update from her again very soon, but I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. So prayers for Miss Emily. Wow, what a crazy, crazy thing to have happen in anyone's family. Okay, well, anyway, let's move on. We've got needtoknow.news pulled up, and the California fires story is the main story that's happening at the moment. So I thought we would look at that quite a bit tonight, and then we'll see how things go. I'm hoping my voice will be able to last about as long as normal. I'm feeling a little bit different, a little bit maybe not as strengthened as I normally do, only because, like I said, I've been sick for the last week or whatever. So anyway, just bear with me, and if I have to show an extra video here or there to give my voice a rest, that would be the reason. It's not for any other thing other than to let my voice have a little bit of a break here and there. So anyway, let's take a look at this first one. California fire causes and updates. AJ from InfoWars blames Democrat treason, which if you've looked at this at all, you could pretty much see that he's exactly right. So this is what this article is talking about. 10 people have reportedly died in the Southern California fires that began on January 7th. An estimated 200,000 people have been evacuated. Property damage and economic losses are estimated to be as high as $150 billion. Over 9,000 homes, I think it's more than that now, businesses and other buildings have been damaged or destroyed. 4 million people have been without electricity in widespread power outages. Fire hydrants in the Palisades area went dry as 3 large reservoirs were drained the first day of the fires. Yeah, but I don't think the water really went to the fires, did they? Or at least not much of it. Critics blame Gavin Newsom and leftists who support severe environmental regulations that force California's rainwater and snowmelt to flow directly into the ocean. Yeah, there's lots of video footage of that happening, actually. AJ explains various facts about the Los Angeles fires that is not being reported in the mainstream news. He relayed that Governor Newsom is preventing water from the rain and snowmelt from the mountains from being stored in reservoirs for later use. The water flows out to the Pacific Ocean in the name of saving the Delta smelt fish. When Trump was last in office, he told Newsom to stop diverting the water into the ocean and to clean up the dry forests that are tinder for wildfires. But of course, that has not happened, and not happened on purpose. It is a plan. And this destruction is part of the plan so that they can rebuild on the ashes, meaning rebuild a smart city on the ashes. I think many of you guys already know about that as far as what seems to be in the works. And then this one, speaking of crazy cities, this is on the other side of the country, of course. Criminals fled New York City subway as Army troops give up. How about that? Cash Jordan, a real estate expert in New York City, explains that while Governor Hochul has deployed 1,000 National Guard troops into New York's subway system, it is still rife with danger. There have been 3 disturbing violent incidents within the last 30 days that includes migrant Sebastian Padilla setting Debrina Callum, 57, on fire while she was sleeping on a stationary train. She is an American who may have been homeless and living in the subway. We covered that when that happened a few weeks ago. Kamel Hawkins is charged with pushing a 45-year-old man on the tracks in front of a moving train, and Jamar Banks was arrested for the stabbing of 2 people in the subway. Boy, it's such a cheery place, isn't it? New York City subway, wow. He had 87 prior arrests, including attempted murder, assault, and turnstile jumping. Wow. Quite the winner there. Says crime begins at the entry as most criminals don't pay the fare and are emboldened to prey on the commuters and commit violent offenses. Progressive leaders are failures who believe law enforcement is toxic and support defunding the police. There was a successful pilot program that was canceled. It involved undercover police stopping fare evaders and searching them for weapons and checking for warrants. Nearly half of the fare cheats had active warrants. And then it says the second video below explains the migrant gang problem in New York City that's also a result of absurd progressive policies in New York City's sanctuary city laws. So, and then you guys know about the whole Daniel Penny incident and all that as well. So anyway, more of the same, but yeah, looks like the New York City subway system is going from bad to worse. So, too crazy. And then back to LA here on this article. Arsonists appear to be caught on camera setting fires in Santa Monica. So yeah, this is, yet again, more arson going on here. It's not exactly climate change. It's it's matches and flamethrowers and all kinds of fun stuff like that. Video posted on X appears to show a fire that was lit up by an unidentified group in the Santa Monica flatlands south of the Palisades fire. This article also lists other facts and data about the fires that include the removal of 113 Los Angeles firefighters from duty without pay in 2021 for failing to meet the city of Nishandaska mandate. So 113 less firefighters because they wouldn't. It says, and in 2025, there's a shortage of firemen. In addition, LA Mayor Karen Bass cut the fire budget by $17.6 million. And no, it is not ineptness. It is a plan. These people know exactly what they're doing. Water shortages exist in Southern California because environmental regulations require most of the water from snowmelt and rain from the Sierra Nevada mountains to flow straight out to the Pacific Ocean in the interest of preserving the small 3-inch smelt fish in the Delta, which there's been a lot of question as to whether that fish even really exists. If it was just, a few put in place for the press to pounce on the story, and then that they are essentially not even really native to that area. So, and I don't know if it is or not, but I wouldn't doubt it one bit, actually, if those fish were not native to that area. So anyway, yeah, here's a Nick Sorter post embedded here. Just in, arsonists caught on camera setting fires in Santa Monica. This is happening in otherwise non-burning urban areas around LA. Absolute mayhem. So you can see here, people just setting their own fires. So they're going to get in on the action as well, I guess. Fire in Malibu Beach, California. Can't help but think this is arson. How else does an entire row of houses directly on the beach with very little surrounding foliage completely burn to the ground? So yeah, and quite a few videos embedded here on this article. Again, needtoknow.news for more info on those stories. And then this one as well. California fires. Man with blowtorch arrested by police after residents detain him. Yeah, you thought I was kidding about the blowtorch, don't you? No, I wasn't. So firefighters are battling wildfires in Southern California in the Pacific Palisades, Hollywood Hills, West Hills, Altadena, Pasadena, Silmar, Acton, and parts of Ventura County. A man on a bicycle with a blowtorch appeared to be setting old Christmas trees and trash cans on fire in Woodland Hills. Neighbors detained him and immobilized him with zip ties. How about that? Citizen's arrest. The suspect has not yet been identified. He may be linked to the Kenneth fire. Well, they did identify him, and they also subsequently let him go. Yeah, because they didn't have enough evidence to hold him, is what they said. I kid you not. Yeah, so welcome to LA. Again, just as bad as New York, huh? Too insane. All right, let's see. Technocracy.news articles. Got a couple of those to look at. Is Trump pursuing technocracy's dream to create the great American technate? Well, nobody saw this coming. In one fell swoop, President Trump has just traced out technocracy's mystery map of the North American technate, which stretched from Greenland to just beyond Panama. This far exceeds George W. Bush's failed attempt to create the North American Union in 2005 and 6 to merge the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. So what do y'all think about all of that? What with Trump and what he's talking about as far as Canada and Greenland and Panama and all this stuff going on? I would say that a lot of his supporters may not be supporting him if he is really going to pursue this kind of stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he's not actually. Maybe some of it's just a lot of hot air. And then again, we don't know. We don't know. He seems to be pretty darn serious about Greenland from what I can tell. Canada, I think probably not quite so much. But yeah, I think it's the 10 kingdoms, Kathy says. That could be. That could be. And we know that, with him going into office, he's going to have a very definitive hand in what happens as far as how things unfold prophetically. So I think, for good or bad, that's I think pretty much a done deal. Either way, you want to look at it. All right, and then the next technocracy.news article we've got here is the WEF says 41% of companies worldwide planning for AI to shrink the workforces by 2030. The WEF's report is behind the information curve by at least 6 to 9 months, during which time AI has doubled intelligence and ability twice over. The best estimates now predict that AGI, artificial general intelligence, will be achieved by mid-year 2025. By 2030, virtually 100% of companies worldwide will be impacted. Yeah, and I think you could make the argument that if you don't accept some version of AI in your business, there's a really good chance you would be out of business at some point. Maybe sooner rather than later, as they say. I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to that. I'm just saying that seems to be the way things are headed, the way things are being upscaled very, very quickly. So we'll see how things unfold this year, but I really don't disagree with any of that. So anyway, that is on technocracy.news as well. And then articles on reclaimthenet.org. One of the big stories this week was Zuck when he made an appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast. And we'll play a clip of that I've got queued up in a little bit. But yeah, he's going on the apology tour, I guess. He's trying to make sure he's on the right side of things, I suppose, with Trump going in there now. So we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But it says Zuckerberg calls Biden administration's pressure to censor content, quote, illegal. Well, that might be, and that is true, but he went ahead with it anyway. He still did it. We all know this. And it says Zuckerberg falsely claims you can't yell fire in a crowded theater just to justify viciousness. Yeah, well, they did it the whole time. They're still doing the exact same thing. They're still yelling fire in a crowded theater. They've been doing that for years. And I don't think they're going to stop. And then this one, full breakdown. Supreme Court weighs free speech against national security in the TikTok ban argument. So who knows where that's going. It's appearing like they might actually try and ban it. So I don't know. I think that's bad news. I don't like the Chi-Coms any more than you guys do. But still, though, I think it should be up to the parents whether or not the app is allowed to be used. And instead of, just being singled out here when they can start banning apps for any reason that they want. And of course, Apple's already doing that, and so is the Play Store. Google's also doing that, but this puts it in the hands of more bureaucrats, which I think is a bad idea. And then this other article here, Newsom defends wildfire response, tells Biden online misinformation needs to be combated. So yes, it's the online mis and disinformation, according to Newsom. So, yeah, I don't think so. So anyway, those are some of the top headlines on Reclaim the Net. And then this one I thought is worth a watch. I won't bother playing this whole video because it's pretty long, but you guys can check this out if you don't already know about it. Candace Owens reacts to a threatening letter from the Macrons. So I've mentioned this before on her reporting that she's done on the French president and his wife, who you could argue is most likely a man. And she has done quite an in-depth study over the last few months on this, and has presented her information in a very unique and I would say very believable way. I think she is spot on with this stuff. So, the interesting thing that's happened here, though, is that Candace has received a strongly worded 100-page letter received on a process server coming from a law firm representing Macron and his wife, quote unquote, dated December 3rd. She was told not to share it, and of course the first thing she did was share it. So good for her. Here's Candace's summary of the letter in our notes, according to the writer of this article on the Liberty Beacon. Owens is alleging engaging in types of defamation. The letter addresses statements she made last March and June, whether or not BM, which is Brigitte Macron, is a man or a woman is nobody's business. That's part of the letter. Brigitte Macron owes nobody any proof of her gender, and Owens is engaging in defamation, implying to French people that they are fraudulent and that they lie. So that was some of the things that was brought forth in this strongly worded, quote-unquote, letter that she received. And it doesn't appear to be a lawsuit, from what I understand. It's mostly just it's not even really a cease and desist type of thing, although it's almost like they're defending all of the different crazy stuff that's happened, and that's about the extent of it. It says Candace makes the crucial point that this type of story can be stifled as long as it remains within France, because reporters can be shut up. This is a fair comment, we feel, and this is the power that Owens has living outside of France. If this type of reporting were left up to the French, it would never fully come out. It says, whoa. Owens then reveals she's looking into friends of theirs and their pedophilic scandals. And this is the key. This is where this should all go. France has likely been a cesspool of pedophilia and SRA as much as any other country. She names several high-profile French worthy of investigation in this regard. Owens will publish her upcoming piece on her website in both languages, meaning French and English. So kudos to Candace. This country needs exposure, which can only come out of effectively from the outside. So Candace Owens. So this is the tweet that's embedded here in the page. For those of you who don't know, Macron's government is also desperately fighting to get X banned entirely in France, likely because it has been the main purveyor of information about her past, meaning Brigitte's. They claim they want it banned to protect the children. Isn't that nice? The irony is thick. So yeah, the full video is here. I think it's about 30 minutes or so, give or take a little. So definitely worth a watch. And know that the Macrons have opened up the communication between her and them. So I think that's pretty interesting. She says she's going to submit a bunch of questions because she knows that they will have access to the questions. And even though she probably doesn't really expect they will answer them, at least she will be able to prove that she can get the questions to them. So we'll see how this all plays out. But it's very interesting for sure. And yeah, I think we've mentioned that several times on this show, talking about Brigitte Macron and the president, as it were. So anyway, pretty wild. It's a crazy world, isn't it? All right, and then Revolver.news, devastating LA fire update. More devastating news. We are in densely populated Mandeville Canyon above Brentwood, and homes are on fire. This is dated yesterday. Fire slowly making its way down the canyon. This exposes the entire region of West LA to spread of fire. So, anyways, more and more and more. It just goes on and on here. Got lots of video embedded here as well. So, Revolver is always doing a good job with what they're reporting on as well, I think. So, have a look at that. Again, we'll link to the article here and all the others tonight as we send it out on Substack on Tuesday. So there you go, right from the horse's mouth, as it were. But he might be on the apology tour now, but he still took part of it. He still took part in all of the censorship, and in fact, they still are censoring people. So I don't really feel too sorry for him here, do you? I think Zuck knew exactly what he was doing, and they continue to do a lot of the same stuff that they're talking about in this video. But, of course, he's admitting it, so I guess that's something. I'm not sure exactly what, but it is something. Anyways, I just wanted to bring your attention to that. If you guys hadn't seen any of those clips from the Rogan podcast, it's probably worth a watch. At least some of that stuff is. He has some pretty interesting interviewees, that's for sure. Now, speaking of Zuck and his wanting to kind of protect himself as much as possible from Trump, it remains to be seen what's going to happen in the next week before inauguration. And this, to me, was the one bit of news that I came across that I was a bit concerned about, because I think you would probably agree, if Netanyahu is not going to the inauguration, that might be a red flag. And I think you know why. So according to this particular story on RT, it says Netanyahu cancels trip to Trump's inauguration. Israeli Prime Minister will not attend the ceremony in Washington on January 20th, according to an aide. Bibi will not be attending Trump's upcoming inauguration ceremony, the Times of Israel reported on Thursday, citing the Prime Minister's senior aide. Trump will take the oath of office and officially be sworn in as 47 on January 20th at the Capitol in D.C. The Israeli leader had previously been expected to attend the event. Another article I saw said that he wasn't invited. So I tend to think that he probably was invited, being how it is Israel we're talking about here. And I think a lot of those leaders are invited, and then it's up to them, obviously, to go or not. Whether or not there were ever plans for him to go, I have no idea, but it is interesting that he is now officially not attending the inauguration. What does that tell you? Yeah, I think he is nuts for doing it on January 20th and not the 21st. VP not even going. Yeah, Kelly says, yeah. I know, it'll be an interesting one for sure. I don't know how things are going to work out, but it doesn't look too promising here when you have people like Netanyahu deciding to not go. I wonder why. Maybe it'll be a little bit too dangerous, you suppose? I don't know. It's like all of the people from that specific little country who got the warning, got the heads up on 9/11 too, the morning of and the day before or whatever, where people knew not to fly and all these different things. You suppose it's something like that? Or maybe not. Maybe nothing will happen and it will go off without a hitch. I have no idea. But I do find it a little concerning just because that story's out there now, so we'll see. I thought this one's kind of interesting too. Trump shares a video calling Netanyahu a deep, dark SOB. So give you a little bit of hope there, I suppose, if you figuring that Trump's in Netanyahu's back pocket. Maybe not. We'll see. Relations between the incoming U.S. president and the Israeli PM have often been rocky, according to this. He called him a dark son of a you-know-what. Son of a biscuit eater, I guess you could say. Trump posted this clip on his Truth Social platform on Tuesday without comment. In the 2-minute video, this guy, Jeffrey Sachs, accuses former President Obama of arming jihadists in Syria in a bid to overthrow Bashar Assad's government. Sachs also condemns former President Bush's 2003 invasion of Iraq and accuses Netanyahu of goading the Bush administration into launching the 2-decade war and pushing for U.S. intervention in Syria and Iran. He's still trying to get us into this fight with Iran to this day, Sachs said. So he is actually correct. So we'll see if that means anything, which it may not. But we all know that Netanyahu pretty much not only hates Trump, but hates all Americans anyway. But it's just a matter of how much he can milk out of the country. We've heard him say it, haven't we? All right, and then let's see. This other RT article I had pulled up. Trump sentenced in New York. U.S. President-elect has been declared a convicted felon in his hush money case, which was the whole purpose of the entire thing from the get-go, to just be able to put that little asterisk right by his name, convicted felon. That's all they cared about. That's the whole reason that they went after this whole thing to begin with. With the misappropriation of the funds and all this stuff. So they just wanted to be able to declare him a convicted felon, and now they have it. So, we do know that the January 6th situation didn't play out like people were saying it could, where the electoral college thing would kind of fall apart, and they would come in and say, no, he's not eligible to be president and so forth. Luckily, that didn't happen. I don't know. I think it's a little too late for that type of thing at this point. So it seems to me like if anything's going to stop Trump at this point, it would have to be something that happens leading up to or during the inauguration itself. So hopefully that won't happen. I'm just saying that's kind of, I think, what we're down to at this point, from what I can tell. So pretty wild. All right, peoplesvoice.tv. Some of the headlines on that site. Anyway, and then WEF boasts that 41% of companies will soon replace human workers with AI, which is what we were talking about a little bit ago. World Economic Forum has predicted that 41% of companies worldwide, that's an interesting number, I wonder why that, will soon replace their human workforces with artificial intelligence. So, yeah, we'll see if that actually plays out. I mean, it could be even worse than that. But of course, they want to get people on the universal basic income as soon as possible. And, if they give people an excuse by being fired, then unfortunately, I think a lot of people will buy into it. Unfortunately. FEMA chief blames climate change for the California wildfires. Of course, it's always climate change that did it, not the arsonists. They weren't part of the fires. No, not at all. The devastating wildfires in Southern California are caused by climate change, according to FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell. I think she would be wrong. Not that climate change isn't going on. It's called geoengineering. It is. And, of course, they've set up the whole process of drying everything out over a course of many years at this point. So, of course, it's a tinderbox. But there's so many other things at play as well. And then Biden blasts Meta's shameful decision to drop fact-checking. We're just hearing old Zuck talking about that just a minute ago. Says the outgoing U.S. president called Meta's decision to drop its controversial third-party fact-checking program, quote, really shameful and contrary to American justice. He must not have ever heard of the thing called free speech. But I guess it doesn't matter. To him, at least. All right, and then EU globalists threaten to cancel German election if AfD wins, citing Musk interference, quote unquote. Yeah, Musk was recently on and did an interview with one of these German's AfD party folks as well. I don't know if you guys knew about that, but that's what this article was pointing to. Mel Gibson, LA fires are an inside job by the deep state. Gibson claims that the LA wildfires were ignited by deep state agents who want to turn LA into a 15-minute city. Yep, I think a lot of people are onto that at this point and realizing that it's basically Lahaina 2.0 is what we're seeing. And then the next articles on here, Italian PM Meloni declares Soros a national security threat. How about that? George Soros, a national security threat, which of course he is. So interesting to see that, though. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has declared billionaire globalist George Soros represents a national security threat to Italy and the Western world. So, wow. And then Bill Maher calls for extreme depopulation. The planet is too crowded. We need to promote death, according to Bill Maher. Well, I think we should start with him. What do you think? He should start with himself, if he really wanted to support it. But no, he means all of the rest of us. You know, the little people. Not him. He's exempt. UK politician who attacked Musk for talking about grooming gangs has been arrested for grooming an underage boy. No irony there at all. So that is the top headlines on the People's Voice. peoplesvoice.tv. Pretty good site. And then Information Liberation. I thought this first one was kind of interesting. Elon Musk asks, quote, what am I missing on Israel? And gets a mouthful. And then, of course, had the picture of the laundry list of all of the stuff he's missed when it comes to Israel. So at least we've got some people here that are serving him up the corrected record here, as it were. And maybe he will listen. I think he has proven, at least to some degree, that he has shown the ability to change his mind on certain things. Whether or not he does on Israel, of course, remains to be seen. Who knows? That's a big one for a lot of people. But this article is talking about that. So ex-owner Elon Musk on Thursday asked anti-Zionist commentator Ian Carroll, I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's really good. What am I missing when it comes to Israel? And he got a rundown for the ages. And Ian Carroll had said to him, for being so smart, you're exceptionally bad at understanding this one issue. Kind of weird. So anyway, the clip here is, of course, Musk talking about how wonderful Israel is. And then Ian Carroll is handing him the truth serum, as it were. So I think that's good. Says, for being so smart, you're exceptionally bad at understanding this one issue. Ian Carroll told Musk on Thursday, after Musk posted a cringe video shilling for Israel from the Israeli PSYOP account, Vizgrad24. So whatever that is. So here's what he said to him. And I think it's certainly worth a read through here. So Ian Carroll, again, if you haven't really followed his work, I know a lot of you guys probably do know who he is. If you haven't, though, you should really check it out. He's doing some good work for sure. He says that AIPAC purchased the seats of about 90% or more of our current Congress. JFK famously warned them registered as a foreign agent right before he was shot, and thus they changed their name and never registered. Why are we letting a foreign lobby buy off our Congress? A very good question. That Israel was obviously the state sponsor of Jeffrey Epstein, whose handler was Ehud Barak, an ex-head of Israeli military intelligence. His funding was Les Wexner, one of the world's richest Zionist philanthropists, and he was accused by ex-Mossad assets of being Mossad. Not to mention the Maxwell connection. They had blackmail on Clinton and many, many more. He who holds the blackmail holds the leash. Just ask J. Edgar Hoover. That Israel is the only nation who has a de facto sanctioned yet actually secret and unsanctioned nuclear program. A program that they stole from the United States. Look into the Apollo affair, NUMEC, N-U-M-E-C, the Dioma nuclear facility. That Jews, Muslims, and Christians lived side by side in peace in Palestine before the Rothschilds purchased the country from Britain during World War I. See the Balfour Declaration. You may have heard of it. And began their colonial program. That the groups that founded Israel, Lehi, Irgun, and Haganah, were declared terrorist organizations by Israel itself because their tactics were so deplorable, bombing British and Palestinian civilians, yet these three paramilitary groups rebranded to form the IDF, and their leadership became the leadership of Israel for the following 30 plus years. That Israel is a foreign nation halfway across the world and has no business receiving my tax dollars. Why are we sending them billions of dollars of our tax money while our country burns, is overrun by illegal immigration, etc.? We are told Israel is our greatest ally, quote unquote, so why would we have had a massive spy network targeting U.S. government agencies leading up to September 11, 2001? See the Israeli art students' DEA reports for copious evidence of Israeli surveillance all across the continental U.S. This is an official government report that cites hundreds of incidents of observed Israeli surveillance teams documented by U.S. government agents all across the continental U.S. And we still have received zero answers why there were numerous fake Israeli moving companies positioned all across the eastern seaboard leading in to September 11, 2001. And we have multiple eyewitness reports as well as hard photographic evidence that they knew the attacks were coming at least a day before they did, and that they were positioned at a vantage point to photograph the attack up to a half an hour before the first plane hit. Never got any answers. But you can read the official FBI reports about the incident. I've broken them down live on X before, Ian Carroll is saying here. That's just a small list of some of the best documented reasons why I, as an American, don't want Israel receiving any of my tax dollars. And I'm sure many of you guys would agree. I know I do. And I didn't even mention my obvious objections to the collective punishment, mass surveillance, forced starvation, bombing of refugee camps, brutal murdering of women and children that's been going on in Gaza and the West Bank for years, decades, which you can watch in graphic detail right here on X. And that's not to mention that somehow we let Congress pass laws outlawing anti-Semitic speech, despite our own First Amendment, and we have an anti-boycott legislation in multiple states, despite the fact that it's perfectly legal to boycott American companies, just not Israeli ones. Every content creator knows the fastest way to get demonetized, banned, and slandered is to be critical of, guess what? Israel. I figured you would have realized this too, what they did to you and tried to do to X last year. Then he made a video, says a long thread along with a short video to provide evidence with all of his claims. So this is Ian Carroll here. So Israel pilled Elon Musk is what this says. Israel pilled Elon Musk. So let's hope it sticks. I don't know. He has, again, I think, proven to some degree he will change his opinion on things. So maybe that is maybe that's the whisper in the ear of Trump that we need to have happen. But way to go, Ian Carroll. I know that was kind of long, but I wanted to bring attention to it just because I thought it was good news, at least from that standpoint. All right, WNG.org, Winter Storm Cora. Oh, they always have their dramatic names. Winter Storm Cora to sweep southern states with heavy snow and ice. Yeah, we got about 5 inches of snow where I am, which is pretty unheard of, really. It's most of it, I think, at this point is melted off at this point. But yeah, we did have some snow accumulation, not really ice this time, which was very different than usual. Normally we tend to get ice where I am, and just a little bit of snow, just for good measure. And this time it was pretty much all snow, which Dane had me outside checking the temperature of the chemically ice nucleated snow to see if I could give him any interesting details. So I was out there with my thermometer measuring the temperature of the snow on the surface of our deck earlier. So that was pretty funny. But I'm sure you guys can only imagine working with Mr. Dane. He's got some interesting things that he requests at times. So it says authorities warn southern states to expect heavy snow, freezing rain, and ice through the end of the week as Winter Storm Cora sweeps across Texas through the Mississippi Valley and into the southeast. So yeah, we got that, and it's currently, as of right this moment, warming up a little bit, and I think when we look at the 10-day here in a little bit, you'll see that it's going to be plunging yet again. So we are in the chemical ice nucleated section of winter for sure. So anyway, that is on WNG.org for that particular article. And then this one, I thought that this was mostly just funny, but it's just further proof that this whole NASA thing with anything that they're putting out is it's always off. It's always off a little bit. Let's just put it that way. Basically, they're always lying. Everyone has the same question as Christmas photo of stranded NASA astronauts spark concern. A Christmas photo shared by NASA astronauts stranded on the International Space Station has everyone wondering how they got their hands on Christmas treats. The image, which shows these different people, supposedly astronauts, wearing Santa Claus hats, was posted earlier this week to celebrate the holidays, but says the 2 test pilots have been stranded in space since June. And they thought people weren't going to ask these questions, these obvious questions. It says when they blasted off of Boeing's first astronaut flight into the International Space Station, but their mission grew from 8 days to 8 months. That's the story anyway. After NASA decided to send the company's problem-plagued Starliner capsule back empty in September, this has led many on social media to question how the astronauts received the Christmas decorations that they showed off on their holiday images. One user on X wrote, who delivered the Christmas hats and decorations? So you thought far enough in advance to pack them when extra space in the capsule is at a very high premium? And then another echoed the sentiment, just adding, I'm curious how they're still alive with 8 days of food and Christmas decorations. Yeah, I think NASA has their hands full. I mean, they can't, they're lying so much they can't possibly keep up with all the lies. Yeah, how much did it cost to send up their Christmas hats? But they still have plenty of food, even though they were only going to be there for 8 days. Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, pretty funny. Total ridiculousness, though. That's NASA for you. Never a straight answer. That's why it's called Never a Straight Answer. All right, and then Forbidden Knowledge TV, that website, some of the top headlines. Klaus Schwab, Los Angeles to be private car driven free by 2030. Remember when he said that? Yeah, he did say that. And of course, old Klaus works for you-know-who, KC3. He works for King Charles. Don't forget that little detail. Most people don't really remember that. But yeah, he's a knight of King Charles. C40 cities. I mentioned that before. UN and World Economic Forum globalist land grab. And this is calling this a calendar. So yeah, this is probably worth a look. C40 cities is something that we mentioned on this show within the last month or so. Is something that's not really talked about all that much, but you can definitely chalk it right up there with WEF and Agenda 2030 and all that stuff. So all the smart cities. And I guess if you want to see who the next cities that are going to be targeted for burn down are, have a look at the C40 cities, because you can pretty much go by that at this point. We've established that. Lahaina and LA and whoever else is next. But you might want to keep an eye on things for sure, especially if you live in a city that tends to like what's going on with Klaus Schwab and company. Yeah. So WEF Insider reveals LA wildfires were engineered to seize land for 15-minute cities. Yep. Beware of PSYOPs. Iran state TV shows guards chief touring underground missile base. Yeah. They're always 2 weeks away. They're only 2 weeks away from their nuclear programming getting a head start. 2 weeks away from having a nuclear bomb. That's what they've been saying, 2 weeks away for years at this point. And then old Zuck says, well, Facebook did make some mistakes. Yeah, they continue to, if you ask me. Anyway, there's quite a few articles here on ForbiddenKnowledgeTV.net. Pretty good site. And lots of videos embedded on their site. Feel free to have a look at that. And then Leo Hohmann's site, leohohmann.com. Trump regurgitates globalist plan to merge U.S., Canada, and Mexico and North American Union. Oh, and throw in Greenland and Panama for good measure. That's been quite the discussion lately. People talking about how Panama, I could see how Panama would fit into the situation, I suppose, but not really Greenland necessarily. I mean, I understand it strategically, but I don't think Greenland will be joining the U.S. I don't know about you guys. Pretty wild. And then next article on his site, medical doctor drops a truth bomb, growing preparedness industry like arsonists running the fire department. So that's a good description as to the situation we have going on. And then Donald Trump, man of peace or man of war? 2025 will provide answers. Yeah, so we'll see how things go. And then, of course, once he gets inaugurated, provided he's still alive and everything works out and can stay alive, we will see how things unfold. But yeah, they are certainly very prophetic things on the immediate horizon, I would say. And then on Leo's Substack, many of the same articles. There's a few others that are on here that are not on his main site. Preparedness industries like arsonists running the fire department. Bill Gates unleashes plan for a new series of gene-based that will target Africa because he loves the Africans so much. And then New Orleans terrorists. Why did FBI quickly change its tune about the New Year's Day truck attack? So yeah, there's some crazy parallels between what happened there and what happened in Vegas, and the people that were involved. So I'm sure many of you guys probably already knew about that. So there's further info here on Leo's Substack, which is always good. And then we'll take a look at some of the headlines here on Gateway Pundit. The first one here, infamous Delta smelt fish has not been seen in nearly a decade, which is what I mentioned earlier. California allowed its cities to burn to the ground over a fish that they can't even find anymore. Yeah. The tiny Delta smelt fish have not been seen in the wild in California in over a decade. But here's one right here. Looks like a minnow. It says, and yet California Democrats flushed annual water flow into the ocean to save this little fish that they can't even find in its natural habitat. So it says they. I don't think it's actually its natural habitat, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, of course, it's just a play on people's emotions. It's all it ever is. These people. Yep. And then let's see. What did $750,000 a year deliver for Los Angeles? Well, there you go. That's what it delivered. Raging fire across all the hills. Massive wildfires are burning across LA County. Firestorm is still in progress in Los Angeles. Priorities first and foremost are saving of lives and property. The calamity in Los Angeles is still early in the situation, ongoing, and not yet under control. But some basic facts can be established at this point in time. This article is dated yesterday. So this is talking about this person, Janice, however you say her name. She has her pronouns front and center here, which that's obviously important to these type of people. And I guess this is her LinkedIn profile. CEO and Chief Engineer at Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. And she was hired with a $750,000 salary, nearly twice that of her predecessor. LADWP operates 10 major active reservoirs, so they claim at least, and over 107 smaller storage facilities, all of which create operational flexibility and to balance water supplies and customer demands. A key reservoir in the Pacific Palisades fire was inoperable. So luckily they're paying her $750,000 to make sure nothing works. So it's lovely. Probably got it at a deal. So anyways, DEI at its best, it says. DEI cult brings equal misery, death, and destruction for all. And it is working very well. So yeah, I mean, don't let them fool you about these people being inept, which at some level they are, but at the more important level, it is a plan. It is a plan. These people were put in place to do exactly what they're doing so that the city would burn, and that is what's happening. It says Pacific Palisades fire explodes, massive wall of flames threatens homes in Brentwood. Threatening multi-million-dollar homes in Brentwood. More than 12,000 structures have been destroyed, according to this article, which we said 9 or 10 earlier tonight. So yeah, who knows? We don't really know for sure, but it's many, many thousands for sure. Very sad. So that's on the Gateway Pundit. And then this one as well. Pure evil. Joe Biden's FEMA forces 2,000 Hurricane Helene survivors into major snowstorm and freezing temperatures. Team Trump responds with fire. Just when one thinks that the departing regime cannot sink to a new low, it continuously proves that there is no bottom. Yep, the fake Biden administration will always sink a little bit lower. It says Fox News on Saturday dropped an infuriating story regarding FEMA's evil treatment of Hurricane Helene survivors in western North Carolina. The agency will end temporary housing for roughly 2,000 Tar Heel residents on Saturday, creating mass confusion amongst the local population regarding what they're supposed to do next. The unforgiving conditions across the Appalachian Mountain region make these victims' situation even more dire. Not only is a major snowstorm coming, but temperatures will drop below 20 degrees. The agency did give the locals some slight, quote, relief, While the temporary housing program was supposed to end on Friday, FEMA pushed the deadline back to today. Yeah. So they gave him an extra couple of days, I guess. Says founder of volunteer group Operation Boots on the Ground in western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee spoke on Fox on Friday about the harrowing circumstances the victims face. I'm actually talking with several people that are losing their FEMA vouchers, he explained. They're terrified that they're going to have nowhere to stay for their families after today. But we did find out last night pretty late that FEMA is extending it a whole whopping 24 hours.
Never sell your Bitcoin, right?
The Trumps have been very bullish on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Again, it's coming. Everybody knows it's coming, and the people who don't embrace it early are going to ultimately lose.
Eric Trump recently met with Michael Saylor at Mar-a-Lago, who has been proposing a plan to preserve U.S. dollar dominance by utilizing Bitcoin as a reserve.
Here's the strategy. You dump gold, demonetize the entire gold network, you buy Bitcoin, you buy 5 million or 6 million Bitcoin, you monetize the Bitcoin network, and you just define digital currency as the US dollar backed by US dollar equivalents and a regulated US custodian. Replaces every currency in the world with the dollar, which the US controls, and it siphons off hundreds of trillions of dollars of 20th century capital assets and half of the capital in the rest of the world. And 75% of the capital of our enemies gets siphoned into Bitcoin. And the big beneficiary is the US government. And after that, every US company, because we're the ones that own and run it.
Trump has been rebranding the North American Union as Canada being the 51st state of the United States. And Justin Trudeau has now resigned, leaving a clear path for Pierre Poilievre to make significant changes.
We haven't really seen a lot of concrete proposals from Mr. Poilievre. I mean, he did make one. That's not fair. You're right. He had one great opportunity for people to opt out of inflation. He recommended this last spring. You can opt out of inflation if you invest your money in Bitcoin. Yeah. No. He stayed up late, watched all sorts of YouTube videos, and came to that conclusion. He said that himself.
We're going to buy this shawarma with this Bitcoin. Send.
Done. Yep, I got it.
You got the deal? Guys, we did it. We bought the shawarma with Bitcoin. So that is my plan, to enable Canada to become the blockchain and crypto capital of the world.
Debt slavery has existed on Earth for thousands of years, which is why a cashless society has been of great concern to freedom-loving souls. In the earliest days of civilization, farmers would borrow against their harvest, and if the harvest failed, the farmer would lose everything and become a slave until the debt was repaid. Eventually, the amount of slaves with nothing to lose becomes a threat to those in power, and so debt jubilees were issued at regular intervals as a matter of public stability. The Bible describes a debt jubilee that would happen every 50 years as an economic reset, a year of liberation and restoration where debts are forgiven, land is returned, and slaves are set free. The ancient Greeks had debt jubilees to avoid violent revolutions and uprisings. As economist Lynn Alden wrote, it wasn't out of kindness that rulers did this. It was a solution to a societal math problem. If you run a computer long enough, eventually it starts to work less efficiently. Refreshing the power and rebooting the system gets the computer running smoothly again. A Jubilee year has been celebrated every 25 years by the Catholic Church since 1300. But the need for debt forgiveness has been avoided by the current debt-based fiat system and the Uniform Commercial Code, which has been running for nearly a century, and it is at its end. 2025 is a Jubilee year, and Pope Francis has called on affluent countries to forgive debts and to address ecological debt, which sounds like a carbon tax. The emerging system is much more than just money. It is a cataloging system where every person and every piece of property can be connected via a digital identity. This is called tokenization, and is set to replace the birth certificate and every other document of title in the real world. Biblical prophecy Christians are saying that this is the mark of the beast, but there is no need for a mark when facial recognition will do the job. And if it comes with debt forgiveness and universal basic income, then those who fight against the system will be seen as terrorists by the public.
What's going to happen is the US dollar is going to be the world reserve currency, and it's going to run on billions and billions of mobile devices. And the digital asset that underlies that currency is going to be Bitcoin.
All right. Yeah. So some very prophetic things unfolding there, as you can see from that video. And I know the Reese Report is going behind the paywall before too long, I think. Although I think he's still going to be offering many of his videos out there for free. So I will attempt to continue to bring you Greg Reese's reports as I can. I'm not really a subscriber per se, but I am on his Substack list, so maybe he'll continue to have some free videos out there. He is no longer an employee of InfoWars, I guess, and he's out on his own. So he's doing some incredible work, obviously, as you guys know. So I really respect Greg and his work. And yeah, the ecological stuff that they talked about in that video and how it will be tied to your digital money and all that. That's right out of King Charles. That's King Charles 101, if you ask me. So that I think that is what we're going to be seeing even more of this year in 2025. So yeah, I think the Antichrist will make his presence known. The question is, when will it all unfold? I think probably most likely in the first part of this year. So yeah, anyway, it is a very interesting situation for sure. All right, and then let's see. We kind of covered this article already, so we'll move on past this. But we all know that Gavin Newsom is pretty much the guy here in charge and the guy who gets most of the blame, or at least he certainly should. So that's obviously a lot of what's going on. And we mentioned her earlier too. Pacific Palisades Reservoir found empty and offline during firestorm catastrophe. 117 million gallons that could have saved the day. But guess what? It was empty. No water for you. You get to burn. Outrage is boiling over after revelations that the Santa Ynez Reservoir, critical water source in Palisades, was empty and offline when a devastating wildfire ripped through the area. I mean, the whole purpose of this thing was for wildfires. And of course, it was empty and offline. So they couldn't have timed it any better. So just ask the folks in Lahaina. They know all about it. So anyway, more of the non-incompetence, but in fact evil, making its presence known, if you ask me. So that's a Gateway Pundit article. And then this one I thought was just so ridiculous. I wanted to just bring it to your attention, just say how you can see how these people are just celebrating their racism. California State University journalism professor celebrates his fall 2024 class having 0 white students. He is really happy about being a racist. You know, you would think that all of these racist people with their super bright smiles or super bright white smiles would realize when they are seeing themselves in the mirror that their teeth are racist. Their teeth are racist. Look how racist this guy's teeth is. A seemingly racist California State University professor is facing backlash. Let's hope he gets some. After celebrating his fall 2024 class having 0 white students. California State University, Long Beach. I wonder if he still has his house. Journalism professor Jesus Ayala boasted in an article for the school's paper that his class was 100% students of color. Ayala discusses how 74.3% of the TV news workforce is white, yet at BTVN, 100% of these students enrolled in their journalism course in the fall are students of color. Means everybody but white. So in order to diversify TV newsrooms, we need to diversify newsroom pipelines. So they say. Why don't you worry about getting the actual content correct and putting out the truth, and instead of worrying about what color people are? How about start with that? But no, I think that's probably asking a little too much, don't you? Anyways, total insanity and more DEI nonsense, but luckily people are recognizing it and trying to put an end to it, at least in some places. In California, probably not so much, but in other places, definitely are. So, all right, and then just in, Palisades wildfire reaches Brentwood, where Kamala Harris and LeBron James live. Oh, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, wow. I mean, you don't want to see anybody's house go up in flames, I mean, honestly, but it just proves that nobody's really going to be above this, for sure. Nobody's going to escape necessarily. So, yep. What a nightmare. Powerful actress Justine Bateman, you might remember her, unloads on California's useless leaders who should resign out of shame, which of course they won't, because it is California after all. You remember Justine Bateman, right? Gen Xers grew up on the iconic show Family Ties. Actress Justine Bateman played the slightly ditzy but surprisingly deep sister Mallory, opposite Michael J. Fox's briefcase-carrying, tie-wearing Republican brother Alex. While Bateman's acting career has continued over the years, she has also expanded her creative repertoire to include directing, producing, and writing. Bateman's X account has become a must-follow for her straightforward take on the current political landscape. So yeah, I'm following her on there as well, and would recommend you guys do it as well, if you happen to be on X. On Friday, justifiably angry Bateman joined Jesse Waters and unloaded on California's useless leaders and their abject failure to protect their citizens. Yes, but again, these people are put there to protect the people who are really running the show. And again, it's a program. They're not inept. They're put there to carry out the plan, and the plan is unfolding flawlessly, if you ask me. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring your attention to Justine Bateman. I think she's doing some good work out there, and article on Gateway Pundit. And then we've mentioned Miss Tina Peters often on this show, and of course she's still incarcerated for doing literally nothing wrong and only upholding the law, but nope, she gets to be put in prison. So this is a follow-up exclusive. David Clements interviews Tina Peters at the Larimer County Jail. When you're locked up for doing the right thing, it's hard. You don't say. So anyway, they did do an interview here. So if you want to read through Tina's story and a little bit about what's going on, there's a video embedded as well. So again, we'll link to this in the Substack post that I send out on Tuesday. Yeah. So, and then one more Gateway Pundit article. I thought this one was kind of interesting. We were just talking about France earlier. So check this one out. It says Pakistani airline ad shows an airplane about to crash into the Eiffel Tower. Paris, we're coming today. Which obviously that didn't happen, but how about that? Paris, we're coming today. The Pakistani airline will probably need to fire someone in their public relations department. You suppose? Wow. Pakistan International Airlines, which is Pakistan's national carrier, put out an ad on X in which they announced that flights between the capital of Islamabad and Paris would be resuming. Paris, we're coming today, the ad declares. However, users quickly noted something unusual. The image appeared to show an airplane flying directly toward the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, it looks like it's flying into it. The image conjured up memories of 9/11 and the infamous images of 747 airliners crashing into the World Trade Center. Uh-huh. Yeah, somebody's probably going to get fired over that. I don't know about that, but yeah, somebody didn't get their Photoshop work exactly like it should be, probably. Anyway, yeah, Paris, we're coming today. Thought that was kind of comical and a bit silly. All right, so let's see here. The Truth in Media postings, some of the more recent ones, they have a video here. Shocking video shows trafficked children at LaGuardia Airport in New York City. So they have a whole story and multiple sections here on Truth in Media on that particular story, so something worth checking into. They've also got some pretty good follow-up on Hurricane Helene and some other things. So feel free to look at that, truthinmedia.com, pretty good site. And then top headlines on Activist Post. Currently, Trump says he is setting up a meeting with Putin. Yeah, his what was his plan to have the situation between Ukraine and Russia resolved before he even takes office? I'm not so sure that's going to happen, is it, Trump? Well, we'll see. Anyways, but yeah, apparently they've got a meeting that's going to be set up pretty soon, so who knows. Top couple headlines I found on Not the Bee I thought were worth mentioning. Why did insurance companies cancel home fire policies months before this wildfire? Let's talk about it. I get it. I really do. The insurance companies are the bad guys. Yada, yada, yada. It says, and they did, in fact, cancel a bunch of fire insurance plans in Southern California. Luckily, California has a state-sponsored backup plan that only costs an arm and a leg. Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. But people are still demonizing the insurance companies for these cancellations, especially now as 4 fires wreak havoc on the greater LA area. I think you could probably look up, though, who owns the now since canceled insurance policies. It's probably, my guess is, BlackRock is most likely involved, wouldn't you think? Which I don't know if that's mentioned here on this story or not. It's just something that came to mind. And then, of course, talking about the, again, inept but perfectly put in place, total moron, Mayor Karen Bass, currently in Africa, attending the inauguration of Ghana's new president, because that's important. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, they put these people in the positions so that people can criticize them and they get the blame for it. And they're so stupid that they just go along with it. And in fact, they are put there so that they will do this terrible job so that they can be blamed for it, so that even more things will continue to unfold exactly like those in charge want. So, and again, we are seeing a definite plan unfolding here, as you all know. So anyway, that's on notthebee.com, this particular one about the insurance policies being canceled right before the wildfires happen. And then this one, in Genesis, God commands mankind to, quote, have dominion over nature. The Los Angeles fires are what happens when they do the opposite. About 6 years ago, this person on this article started talking about something that he was calling Agent Smith environmentalism. The term comes from the iconic villain in the Matrix film, the malevolent computer program named Agent Smith. You may remember him. At the end of the first movie, the villain gives a classic monologue to one of the heroes that goes like this. Yeah, and this I've thought about this often because it really does kind of encapsulate what the elite really believe about all the rest of us. So here's the quote. Every mammal on this planet instinctively develops a natural equilibrium with the surrounding environment, but you humans do not. You move to an area and you multiply until every natural resource is consumed, and the only way you can survive is to spread to another area. There is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what it is? A virus. Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You're a plague, and we are the cure. So yeah, this is a pretty good description, obviously, of that's what the elites really believe. That the rest of us are the virus that they are trying to eradicate. But it does kind of sum it up pretty nicely. It says that classic villain speech has formed the basis for every single leftist interaction with nature. The modern environmentalist, human presence is treated as a disease, a violation of the pristine planet that we live on. All of our environmental efforts, billions and billions of dollars, are focused almost entirely on reducing human impact. We are told we must reduce our quality of life, reduce our number of children, reduce our number of safety. We reduce our safety and prosperity, reduce, and reduce. We have Apple commercials in which CEO Tim Cook, oh yeah, he's gay, right? Plays fearful homage to a vengeful God called, quote, Mother Nature, portrayed by, for some reason, by Hollywood's typecast sassy black woman, Octavia Spencer. We have columnists in the New York Times calling for people to stop having children altogether. Of course, not for the Muslims, though. It's okay if they continue. And then it says, we have psychotic anti-humans like Jane Goodall, who was just awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Joe Biden, wishing for the mass extinction of billions of human beings for the sake of the planet. In all these efforts, we see pagans bowing to a pagan earth god, sacrificing innocent people, and timidly begging for mercy. There is no place that this is more starkly apparent than in California. For decades, California has been ruled by a firmly entrenched cabal of radical environmentalists. Hundreds of regulations are mercilessly churned out each year, all of them sacrificing human citizens to the earth god in exchange for the promise of favorable weather, rain for the crops, and prosperity of a tiny junkfish called the Delta smelt. And every year, California is rewarded by this vengeful god with droughts, wildfires, and millions of people desperately escaping the state. We're told California actually has plenty of water, but most of it is allowed to flow directly into the Pacific rather than being rerouted into Southern California, all to protect the non-endangered baitfish. There he is. But he's so cute, isn't he? So it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, and then it's talking about gruesome and dismantling the dams of California and so on. So yeah, it's just, again, this whole thing is a plan. It's just being unfolded now. We're seeing it. So anyway, yeah, thought that was kind of interesting, though, how they had the take from the Matrix film. Pretty interesting. Anyway, and then let's see, this one, kind of a follow-up as well. Israel 365 News, California wildfires, a glimpse of Malachi's healing pre-Messiah fires, ? So they're really, really like to put out the articles when stuff like the wildfires happen on this website. They like to say, is this a harbinger of their Messiah that's going to show up? And they don't mean Jesus Christ. No, they don't mean Jesus. They mean their Moshiach is who they're talking about. It says a series of California wildfires erupted on Tuesday, fueled by strong winds, which gusted to more than 70 miles per hour in some spots in dry conditions, and fire burned for 4 days. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's talking about the details there. And then is saying that natural disasters of epic proportions are described in the Bible, and the wildfires are hinted at by King David as serving God in the pre-Messiah period. So see where they're going with this? He makes the winds his messengers, fiery flames his servants, which of course that is true. However, I think there's a little more to the story here. The prophet Malachi describes wildfires as a messenger of God. Again, I don't disagree with that so far, but see where they're going with this. Though the process is undoubtedly painful, the Talmud describes it as healing. So now we're talking not Bible anymore. We're talking the Jewish Talmud. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish said, there is no Gana, hell, in the world to come. Rather, the Holy One, blessed be he, will remove the sun from its sheath, and the righteous will be healed by it, and the wicked will be punished by it. The righteous will be healed by it, the Talmud stated. So you can see how they're going with the Talmud here, not the actual Bible. Pretty wild. I just wanted to bring your attention to that, just because I felt like it's so obvious what they're talking about here as far as the Moshiach. That's who they're hoping that these fires have some sort of premonition, have some sort of a Talmudic prophecy that's going to bring about their Moshiach. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting that they're trying to work the story of the fires in L.A. into this whole Moshiach and Jewish Messiah thing. Very, very, very strange. And then a couple InfoWars articles. Day 6 of LA Inferno. All of America is turning against Gavin Newsom and the Democrats after it was proven that they intentionally block fire mitigation programs, helping create the most deadly fires in West Coast history. And that is true. Says AJ breaks down how the American people are turning against Governor Newsom. And the Democrats in Southern California continues to burn at a historic pace and are beginning to learn that the LA wildfires are a result of intentional sabotage and deliberate negligence. So that's exactly what's going on. And then LA wildfires documentary reveals scale of destruction, exposes Democrat failures. So this is Matt Baker. Some of you guys may know who he is. Slave to Liberties. Matt Baker reports on the LA wildfires on site, showing the widespread devastation and chaos wrought by the blaze. He also explains how the destruction wouldn't have been as terrible had not the city and state leadership properly funded and prepared for fire emergencies, which of course they didn't do. So that is a documentary that's already out there and available as the story is unfolding. So that was kind of interesting, huh? But that's on InfoWars. And then came across this meme. I posted this in the band group. You may have seen it there. Yeah, is the Moshiach going to live in a 15-minute city? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe so. But yeah, it's got the Hail Satan, people worshiping Satan and then running for cover when it's actually come to pass, and Hollywood's burning down. So now it's scary, apparently, but it wasn't when they were playing with fire, as they say. So anyway, kind of interesting. And then modernity.news, LA mayor lambasted for smiling in new PR video as the city burns. Again, she's just another flunky that has been put in place to do a job, and boy, is she doing it well. The fact that you're smiling right now is effed up beyond all redemption, someone says. Mayor of Los Angeles has been blasted for smiling throughout a PR video as the city burns to the ground. After eventually returning from Ghana, Mayor Karen Bass has desperately attempted to salvage her position. In her latest weird appearance, she smirked and declared Angelinos, "We're still going," quote unquote. So there she is, in all of her glory. Very strange. Yeah, why are they smiling throughout this video? Yeah, they're happy about it. They're very happy about the destruction and the death and all the billions that they will be raking in from the U.S. taxpayers. Okay, and then vaccine impact articles, the newest ones. Trump prepares his second war against the American people by invoking emergency powers to destroy the economy through tariffs. So I don't know. I think it remains to be seen as to whether that will actually happen. Obviously, they think that that is what's in store for us here on vaccineimpact.com. I'm not so sure that the tariffs will be that terrible, but they are very anti-Trump on vaccine impact, which is totally fine. I get that. And it will, again, remain to be seen. We'll have to see how it all plays out. It could be that the tariffs never even happen. But, again, if they do and it starts to turn the economy around, I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. So we'll see how things unfold. Weaponizing Tesla cars. Tesla cars are death traps, according to this other article here, and I would definitely agree with that. Real American history, when the military in Washington, D.C. attacked and killed American veterans who wanted to be paid during the Great Depression. So that is another article on here. How corporate America shaped American Christianity, which resulted in electing Donald Trump as president. So there's another one. And then this final one, President Richard Nixon, I sold my soul at Bohemian Grove, according to this particular article. So anyway, and that's very possible. I don't know. And then Musk throws temper tantrum, threatens MAGA Republicans with war, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. One of the many articles there on vaccine impact, and there's some good ones for sure, some that are certainly worth the read. And then GeoWatch for this week, we have January 11th, so that was yesterday's show. LA begins to face apocalyptic devastation as wildfires continue to burn. That's a PBS headline. It feels apocalyptic. Californians on the loss and devastation from LA wildfires. That's a Guardian headline. Economic loss from LA wildfires could top $50 billion. I think it's already more than that. Making it one of the costliest U.S. natural disasters. LA Times headline. And in the rest of the U.S., biggest snowstorm in years shuts down travel across the southern U.S., which that's what I was dealing with personally. That's what happened in the area that I am in. So it says, what's wrong with this picture? Welcome to the world of weather warfare. Yeah. So there's actually 2 videos embedded in this article. If you missed them, I would definitely point you to both of these. One of them is just 90-second alert, winter fire apocalypse, talking specifically about Los Angeles. And then the one above it here is the normal global alert news for this week. Atmospheric frequency transmissions are a primary method with which the geoengineers can manipulate atmospheric pressure zones and thus surface wind directions and velocities. These transmissions form very specific patterns in aerosol-laced cloud canopies and haze, as the video below captured clearly reveals. So that is this fire apocalypse video. So if you missed that, they've got it right there on the radar on screen there, so you can see it yourself. Anyway, pretty wild. So that's on GeoWatch for this week. And then I mentioned the scheduled weather. This is more of what's in store. Looks like they're going to bring in a chemical cool down for the whole U.S. It's going to be cooler than normal everywhere. January 18th to the 22nd is what these dates are. With a big target right there in the middle of the U.S. So I don't know if the L.A. fires are putting out enough smoke to be able to use that as much coverage. Probably not, I'm guessing, but yeah, they bring the moisture up from the Gulf and reroute it around and chemically cool it down in order to cool off, in particular, the eastern half of the U.S. But it looks like they're able to bring some moisture in from even further west if that much of the U.S. is going to be cool this week or in the next 10 days. So that will be interesting for sure. So my guess is wherever you are, it's going to be a little cooler than normal coming up, except unless you're in Alaska, because look at Alaska, way above normal. So not that surprising. But anyway, that's on the NOAA maps. So that is there. And then, I see Miss Emily's here. Hello. Hello. Glad you made it. And let's see what else we have going here. Oh, I wanted to play just a clip of this. I came across this earlier talking about KC3, and this is a clip from a Tim Cohen video. And, this is probably something you've already heard before, but I thought it was interesting just because I like Kate Daly. She interviews him in this 33-minute video. And I didn't realize he was ever on her show, but I think the date on this was from 2023, May of 2023. I don't know why it's just now making it to Cohen's YouTube channel, but I think it's interesting because he brought up this point in the interview he did with her on the one thing that I mentioned right back at the crowning of the king back in 2023, when I brought it to Tim Cohen's attention that the date of the coronation, whenever he is crowned, it added up to 18, which is 666. And he actually mentions that in this interview with Kate Daly. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And, well, here, I'll just play just a couple minutes of it and let you guys hear just a bit and see what you think.
So this symbolism still identifies him, but 666 was also hidden in his coronation, 3 different ways.
Okay.
So I'm going to point that out as we go into this. So even without the name calculation, the number is still there, even when he was crowned as king, 3 different ways. And so I'll point those out, at least 3. And
let's go with the first one. We have about a minute. Let's go with the first one. Yeah.
All right. He was coronated 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days after his mother's funeral.
Really?
Yep. And the day, I'll give you a second one because it doesn't take long to do this. May 6th, 2023, right?
Yeah.
5 plus 6 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 is 18. 3 times 6.
Weird. Okay. And
here's the third one.
Okay.
Here's the third one. The cipher of the cipher of Camilla, who was crowned queen at his crowning. Mm-hmm. Very similar to Charles' cipher, and the cipher is like Charles Rex or Camilla Regina, which is basically Charles King or Camilla Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Camilla's version of that cipher has 3 6s woven into the base of it, kind of hidden in it.
What?
And that was shown at the crowning also, on the backrest of her chair.
Okay, hold right there.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Okay, well, anyways, you guys can listen to the full thing if you want to hear it, but he goes into more detail on that. But I thought that was kind of cool that he mentioned that. And the reason that I know that he found out about that second one that he mentioned there from me is because I mentioned it to Janie Duvall and posted it on her YouTube channel, and she said, "Wow, that's amazing," and then proceeded to tell him about it. So then he started repeating that as well. So yes, the coronation date, 5/6/2023. If you add up all of those numbers, 5 plus 6 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, that's 18, that's 666. So very, very strange. But anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting that he mentioned that to Kate Daly in this interview, even though this interview is from a while back now. But yeah, and again, it's a kind of a crash course on this whole idea that King Charles will be the biblical Antichrist. And if you're not really up to speed on that, I would certainly invite you guys to check out this short video. It's mostly just the two of them talking, and then he's sharing his screen through the whole thing. So again, it's like 30 minutes or something. So it's worth a watch if you want to be enlightened about the whole idea of Charles and how he really does fit the role. And he's got the imagery based on what the book of Revelation talks about, and his name calculation is something that works out not only in English but also in Hebrew. Charles, Prince of Wales, adds up to 666 not only in English but also in Hebrew, which is apparently mathematically basically impossible. And so he goes into that whole thing in this short interview. I think it's worth a watch if you guys have never seen that before. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. And that's a new one out there on Tim's channel, so feel free to have a look at that. And then some of the recent things that I've posted on my Twitter X profile, talking about the man most responsible for the worst fires in California history, Gavin Newsom, claimed that he has now launched an investigation to find out who is guilty. And all he needs to do really is look in the mirror, because that's exactly who's the most guilty. And have you guys heard about Oreo the dog? This is Oreo the dog. Says, incredible news. Palisades fire victim just found and was reunited with his dog Oreo, who spent 5 nights in his home's rubble. So look how happy this guy is to get his dog back. I thought that was pretty cool. So good for him, and good for the dog. So apparently they lost everything except the front wall and the gate, but not the dog. So Oreo the dog has made his appearance known, I guess, here. So anyways, it's a good story. And then this just kind of gives you, let me play this. We'll go full screen here just so you can see it. We'll let this play. This is side-by-side comparison before and after the Palisades fire here. You can get a pretty good idea of what it was like before. So really amazing. And these are just a lot of really rich people for sure, but a lot of working class people as well who've lost everything. You just saw Oreo just a minute ago in his human, and they didn't look particularly rich, and yet looked, from what I could tell, like he lost everything. So there's PCH there. So anyways, I just wanted to bring your attention to that. I felt like that was a pretty interesting and cool video that somebody had put together before and after there. And then, awful $500 billion to Ukraine and $250 for California residents. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Let's see, what else we got here? Oh, we got the leadership team at the LA Fire Department. There they are. Yep. The DEI woke leadership team. I posted this one because it mentions new fire that had just started a few days ago now in Studio City, and that is that's the area that I lived in when I was out there. Although not this place that's on fire, obviously, but Studio City was the area that I lived in, so kind of close to home a little bit for me. Way back when, but again, I made the move and got out of there and moved away from Los Angeles a long time ago at this point. But I still have friends out there, and man, it's not good. I know people that have lost everything, and know people who have lost everything. So not good. And you might want to say a special prayer for our good friend L.A. Marzulli, a friend of the show, good friend of mine. Of course, he lost everything in the fires in Malibu a few years ago, and then rebuilt. And I tried to talk him out of it, by the way, but nope. He loves the area and rebuilt again, and now he's right in the thick of things again. As far as I know, he's okay. I think he's doing okay. I haven't talked to him, but hopefully he'll be just fine. But anyways, know that he's still out there in that area. So not good. Not good. So lots of stuff here about the fires that we've retweeted, and digital IDs. Nothing good will come from digital ID. All your money, shopping, travel, daily activities, and carbon footprint will be tracked and monitored by your digital ID. Gavin Gruesom's California looks like Mordor from The Lord of the Rings. Yeah, really, look at it. Man, that's about as evil as it looks. About as evil as it gets. Yeah, and then this meme, we have to go back to December 23rd, 1913 to stop the creation of the Federal Reserve. Get ready to see some serious Shiite, according to Doc. So, anyways. So, yeah, I find some interesting stuff to retweet, so feel free to follow along on Twitter X if you're on there. The Diamond Report on there is just the Diamond RPRT. The Diamond RPRT. And the followers are coming back little by little. I mentioned before I lost half of my followers for some weird reason. I don't know why. But they're slowly coming back in, so I guess that's good. Anyways, know that is available there if you guys happen to be on Twitter X. Do find some interesting things to tweet and retweet, and this show will go up on my X profile probably on Tuesday at some point when I'll put the YouTube version up. So yeah. Anyway, let's see what you guys are saying over in chat. I'm glad to see Miss Emily made it. Hello. And I was looking to see if she had any updates. Dad is still missing. No. Okay. Well, that's not good, man. We are so sorry to hear that, Miss Emily. I mentioned the story at the beginning of the broadcast tonight. Many of you all that were here heard the story as far as what was going on with your dad, as far as just the local news reporting that you had sent a link for in the band group, and I reiterated that. And at that time you weren't here, so I was wondering if there were any updates, and apparently not at this point. So anyways, yeah, just know that our thoughts and prayers are continuing to be with you. And man, I wish we could help try and locate him. I don't know what else to say other than I've never heard of anything like this. I've never known anybody who had someone go missing like that before. That is so strange. Very strange. Yes, life can turn in minutes, Kathy says. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, all the poor people who have lost everything in Los Angeles. Our hearts are definitely with you all, for sure. Let me see what you guys are saying in chat, see if there's anything else I missed before we can, I guess, call it a night. We'll probably wrap things up a little early tonight. I'm still battling I would say more than anything, I'm just down to a cough. I was sick last week, as many of you guys know, and hadn't been sick in years, and made the mistake of taking a vacation, and then of course as soon as I get back I get sick, so it's lovely. But anyways, yeah, it was a good trip. We ended up having a lot of fun and doing some fun stuff while we were out in Vegas, and seeing a couple good shows. Saw a couple good rock bands, some folks you guys may know. Imagine Dragons. You guys like Imagine Dragons? They're one of my favorite bands. We went and saw them. That was on New Year's Eve, believe it or not. And then we also saw Bruno Mars. He was real good. And a couple other shows, but that was the two music shows that we saw and ended up having a lot of fun. It was the family, the whole family, so we all got to go and partake in the various concerts and fun stuff going on, and did see a few fireworks. They had fireworks kind of across the I think it was 8 of the major hotels there were all doing basically the same fireworks show on New Year's Eve, so that was kind of cool. Just getting to see that kind of from afar. We weren't right in the thick of things there, but yeah, it was very interesting. And then of course I come back and get sick, so that's makes perfect sense. So yeah, but on the mend, and thank you guys for being a little patient with my voice tonight and a cough here and there. So I definitely did not want to miss another show. That didn't really seem like it was important to do. So we missed an extra show last week. So my apologies for missing last week's show, but we'll stay caught up, I think, at this point. I think we're in good shape. Looking at the comments and questions, don't really see anything else. People talking about Smart LA 2028. Yep, we mentioned that earlier. We've done a lot of coverage of the LA fires tonight, and rightfully so. That's a huge story. Yeah, Owen on InfoWars is worried that Netanyahu is bailing from the and that is probably the most important article that I could find that may have something to do with the inauguration, and that is that Netanyahu will not be attending the inauguration. So what does that tell you? I think it's worth watching, although I think at this point I'd be really surprised if something major does happen, just because things seem to sort of be unfolding at their own pace. And I'm seeing more and more that I really feel like Trump, like him or hate him, whatever, I think God is using him somehow. I think that there is going to be some prophetic things that happen, and to me that pretty much means that he's probably going to stay alive. And for these prophetic things to unfold, good or bad, as far as Christian believers go, let's just say they're prophetic things. And I think that Trump will probably be at the center of a lot of that stuff. And I don't really see at this point anything really going off the rails as far as him getting in there. I think at this point we're just a few days out, and it's most likely that he will be inaugurated. And it's not to say something bad couldn't happen. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying hopefully that won't happen. And I could see him taking power at this point, and then people running for cover as far as people who think that he's going to come after him or whatever. I mean, who knows? They could. I think they'll still be trying to thwart every single thing that he does, and they will want to try and ruin anything that he will attempt to do. I do think that that's probably front and center, just like they did the first time around with him. But as far as their ability to actually take him out at this point, I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, God's already spared his life at least twice that we know of. So, I don't know. He must have other plans. And you guys know how I feel about 2025. I personally think that we're going to see a lot of things unfold this year. And I think that Trump's part in that will be very important, although I think Charles is the guy to watch. Especially in the first half of this year, the first 3 months of this year, really. So yeah, we will see how things unfold. But I'm figuring out pretty quickly that Charles is I think he knows what's in store for him, and soon, because obviously he's aging. He's getting up there, and honestly, may not have all that much time. So we will see how things unfold again. Okay, well, I don't really see any other. Oh, here's somebody talking about blue roofs. Anyone else see the photos of D.C. where the buildings, except the Supreme Court building, have blue roofs? Okay, no, I didn't know about that. The only thing I saw about anything blue was people were wondering that some of the houses in some of these neighborhoods, the trash cans were blue and non-melted. I did see that, although I don't know how true that is, because people could use a different photo or an older photo or Photoshop in the blue trash containers or whatever. But I did see that. But haven't really seen much about blue roofs and stuff. I don't really think in this case you don't really have to go to the whole due discussion to even understand what's going on. I mean, yes, that could very well be part of the equation, just like it was in Lahaina. I think that's very possible. I wouldn't want to throw that out completely. However, you don't really even have to go that far because we know they left the power on. We know they didn't cut the shrubbery back from all the power lines. It's part of the plan. They let all that stuff overgrow and undergrow, and they leave the power on, and then they have these huge high winds that are basically sparking these fires and setting them off, and then blowing the sparks around it from everywhere there, and boom, they have their infernos. So I think that seems to me, at least from a layman's point of view, that's pretty easily can be understood that is at least part of what's going on. So whether or not there were other weapons involved, who knows? I don't really think that they had to in this particular case, though. Looking to see what Emily's saying. Thanks for your prayers. God is the only one bigger than this. Yeah. Doug, I heard the piece on my dad on my drive home. Thank you so much. Okay, good. I'm glad you did. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know that much to say about your dad other than to let you know that we're praying for you. And I pulled up these couple articles here, one of which I think was one of the ones you sent me or that you posted on Band. And then here's one other one that I found. Rescue crews search Nye County mountains for missing pilot. So, and I thought that was pretty cool that they quoted you in here as well about all the prayer warriors out there. We need your prayers. So we will try and be that for you, and we'll be with you through this. So yeah, as soon as you hear any other details, certainly let us know if you would, and I know you will. And in the meantime, all we can do is continue to pray for you and your family. So I know I can't imagine how difficult this must be. So I mean, I wouldn't ever say anything that would insinuate that I know how you feel, because I have no idea how you could even deal with any of that, really. So, but yeah, yes, definitely keep us posted for sure. Thank you guys. Thank you for doing that. And so anyways, along those lines, if you are so inclined and want to help out what I'm doing, the best way to do that really is just sign up for free on the Substack. Had a few people sign up recently on Substack, which is good, but that's, for the most part, it's all free unless somebody decides they want to donate. So, free doesn't really pay the bills, but it is there. If you guys want to be on the Substack, it is totally free, although there is a paid mechanism there as well if you guys do want to contribute to what I'm doing. I think Substack is a good way to go with that. Subscribestar, though, is the new one, and it's really more oriented toward helping me directly, and I think it will ultimately prove to do more good even than what Substack is able to do as far as the way I'm using it. But Subscribestar there is available starting at $5 a month, and I did actually lose a subscriber somehow. I still have 5, so I think that's good, but I've lost one now since the last broadcast. So I would just ask that you guys support what I'm doing. If you enjoy the show, then that's the best way to support what I'm doing. There's that, and then there's also, of course, the Diamond Report store. And I'm actually wearing a hoodie that says Conspiracy Analyst. This is the, it's this one, actually. Conspiracy Analyst, and it says the Diamond Report right on it. So it's got the logo on the sleeve and under the hood. So very comfy and very really nice, really good premium type products. And just know that is available if you guys want to help what I'm doing. That would getting a little swag would certainly help this show and helps promote the show and helps fund the show. So thank you guys very much for and you know who you are. For people who have bought stuff from the store, we've got hoodies and stickers and mugs and t-shirts and various things like that. And then, of course, follow along on YouTube and Rumble and BitChute and all the other channels. So there you go. That was the show for this week, I guess. We have the Rumble channel. It's Diamond Disc on Rumble. If you happen to be on Rumble, definitely give me a follow if you're not already. Certainly would appreciate that. Totally free. And BitChute, same thing. Diamond Disc on BitChute and Brighteon, which is Mike Adams' really good platform. And then Band. Band is that's the community group that I've mentioned a couple times tonight. And yeah, that's where we get in and just share information, really. And that's where Miss Emily was posting about her father. And you know, we just look at some of the different things that what you guys are into and studying and stuff like that. So, you know, oftentimes stuff that gets posted there is stuff that I end up reporting on later on this show. So it's a good way to have a good two-way kind of communication between me and you guys, which I really certainly appreciate that. And this meme definitely seems to be the meme of the moment with everything happening in Los Angeles. So yes, this is fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, is Subscribestar the best one? Yeah, it is. Subscribestar is the best one, Marty, and I think you're already on there. So thank you for helping out. And Subscribestar is the best one, I think, as far as being able to contribute directly to what I'm doing. So thank you guys. Thank you, Sir Marty. Appreciate your help and everyone who was here tonight. And yeah, I guess we made it through. I wasn't sure my voice would hold out, but I guess it did. So I'm glad. And we got a couple of other videos we could watch on the way out tonight because we're a little bit earlier tonight than normal. But I mentioned the Reese report. Yeah, Greg is no longer with InfoWars. However, as long as he continues to release free videos, I know how I can get them downloaded and still use them in this show as long as he's continuing to do it for free. If he puts it behind a paywall, obviously, then I won't be able to do that anymore. But so we'll attempt to continue to keep bringing you Reese reports as they are released. And the bound reports that I show so many of as well, I think will continue, hopefully, to be posted on band.video, which is where I get them from. So another good site out there. And yeah, lots of good videos. So let's watch this New Year's Eve. The New Year's attack was always imminent. And then we'll close that one out with good riddance to Tampon Trudeau. And Trudeau is going to be flushed down the toilet of history. I thought that was pretty funny. So blessings, you all. Hope you guys have a really great week. Make sure you stay in touch with what I'm doing if you don't mind. And watch for the Substack posting that I send out on Tuesday, which will have the final URLs, all the links to all those different articles and stuff that I talked about tonight will be in there, as well as the YouTube version of the show will be linked and all of that. So much love, you guys, and hope you guys have a blessed week, and we'll do it again next week. We'll be back here again on Sunday the 19th at 10 p.m. Central Time. So we will see you guys then. Love you all. Have a really great week, and we'll talk to you again real soon.